Dark side of the stream, Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens. Watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 287. This week was my pick, A Toxic Love Story on Netflix. I got a confession.
Ooh.
The confession is that...
Usually it's me confessing.
Yeah.
Tell me, son.
I just want to thank and I want to confess that I did not know what I was going to pick until literally we were in that very last segment right before you asked me. Typically every week we sit down and Jay will be like, "Am I picking your pick?" And then we'll figure it out. For some reason we didn't do that.
Yeah,
last
we
week
jumped
at
right
all.
in.
We started going.
Tyler's fault.
Started going into it, and then I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" And I'm like, I think Netflix was like the third place I looked, and then it just popped up top 10 or something, and I was like, "Oh, it's only an hour and a half. Boom, let's go."
It was on my radar,
dude. So just out the gate for it being a last minute, oh god, I'm gonna have to watch this.
No,
fantastic story.
Yeah, and you know I love a good twist, and this one had several twists.
Couple twists, actually. I think really three twists for me. Yeah. We can talk about that later.
Which I think we should say spoiler alert if we're gonna.
Yeah, that was something Jay brought up earlier this week. He goes, "We really need to do that."
Because you want to watch this without knowing what's going to happen. Because boy, those twists hit you with some right crosses, man.
I mean, we're not talking about finding out that Darth Vader is Luke's father type of spoiler, but at the same time, there is definitely two twists that happen in the story that.
Gosh.
If you want to watch this, it's not really a good. Nice practice to, especially as a broadcaster, say stop listening. But if you really want to watch this, stop, pause what we're doing
right
now,
here on our beautiful faces.
Then go watch it on Netflix for an hour and come back and you can hear us yuck it up about this crazy story that involved a love triangle of sorts.
Yeah, kind of.
Essentially, it started out as an innocent love story between two people. One was a U.S. Marshal.
Well, he wasn't yet when they started dating, but
he was on his way to be one.
Became a marshal. Didn't look like the kind of marshal I would want protecting anything.
Wait a minute now. What is a marshal? What is a U.S. Marshal supposed to look like, J. Stevens?
I would like my marshals to be a little bigger, stronger. This guy was a little stronger.
Wait a minute, Mr. Jiu-Jitsu. Strength has nothing to do.
It does have a little bit.
But your core belief as a practicer of jiu-jitsu is that the smallest guy can, in essence, if they are trained enough, can take on a guy double his size easily.
Yeah, of course. If there's a training discrepancy. Yeah.
Well, if the big guy is what I'm saying. Yeah. But so I
want my marshals a little bit beefier.
It's all because I made you watch Bloodsport, huh? You just got John Claude in your hand. You're like, it's got to be willed up.
Yeah, I want him to look like John Claude Van Damme.
He's got to be willed up. John Claude, 1987.
My marshal to look like John Claude Van Damme. All he knows what I'm talking about.
I want him to do the splits. Yeah. I wouldn't go as far to say he didn't, like, as far as like his physique looked like one, because I think cops come in all shapes and sizes. But he definitely didn't really. It didn't seem like he fit the mold that much.
Did not fit the mold to me.
Granted, though, from what I thought the producers did such a great job of like presenting one part of it and then another part of it and then another part of it and then like the conclusion.
Yeah.
And so basically, two are together. They buy a condo together, and then it goes south. At this point, you really only hear the guy's story, but essentially he's like, she's crazy. She's crazy, and I just couldn't take it anymore, and she left. He then starts a new relationship with another woman, and right out of the gate, things start getting a little weird, and we'll talk about that next. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.
Whacked. Dark Side of the Stream, Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens. Watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens. It's episode 287. This week, my pick, a toxic love story. So they go right into the pan pretty quickly with this thing, and essentially it's focuses on this couple, Ian and Angela. They just started dating. Ian had just gotten out of a relationship a few months previous. The girl that he's with now, Angela, starts getting these weird emails, and they've kind of got this weird religious undertone to them, and you're like, that'll be important
And I
later.
feel like she kind of moved in pretty quick, too, and didn't even propose to her, like, after, 2 weeks or something like that.
I mean, he'd just been out. He said he broke up with this girl in August. They got together in, February. So what?
And he
6 months,
immediately
maybe?
proposed to her.
And then this girl's
right?
already in it. But we'll get to that, too.
Even
because
Jordan thought that was fast. Just so you know. Just so you know. I was like, oh, okay, all right. So you agreeing with me. She goes, oh, yeah, that's way too quick.
Well, but that you got to find the middle ground, my man. There's one here and there's one here. You got to be here. That's another dark side of the stream episode. So yeah, the girl Angela starts getting threatening emails. Police start getting involved.
I'm watching you, stalking you.
They start coming out. The police, and granted, I love what our police officers, men and women, do on the streets for us every single day. But recently, we found one where the police did an incredible job. The Anaheim cops in this situation dropped the ball.
Yeah,
big time.
The FBI guy though, right? Did a
well,
great
we'll
job.
get to that in a minute. He actually did the job.
He did an amazing job.
He did the job.
Amazing job.
The Anaheim police took what this guy was saying, Ian, the U.S. Marshal.
Because he's a marshal, so they probably give him benefit of the doubt,
But you still got to do your job.
I know.
I'm going to listen to you because I know that you're a talented musician.
Right.
And you have a good ear because I've heard
still
it.
Gonna do your
but
job.
then you say things like, I love Motley Crue, they're the best band in the world.
Yeah, and so
now
does
I'm
Scott.
going to investigate that on my own.
You're going to investigate Motley Crue? All right, let's give him a playlist
Jay
for
does
Crue.
have a good ear, but for whatever reason, he thinks this band is good when they're garbage. That's a great analogy of that. Because ultimately, yes, the Ian used the fact that he was a U.S. Marshal to try and manipulate the situation. Had these police been involved, but that's the thing. That's where it gets in that gray area because you want to be like, well, why didn't the cops do their job? Well, they told him, and it is fact, if nothing actually happens,
right,
there's not a whole lot they can do, with the exception of a protection order, a restraining order, which the couple did file, and they served to this woman.
Poor girl, yeah.
Then the documentary takes a turn, and we go back in time. And instead of finding out about the ex-girlfriend, we find out about the current girlfriend, and her name's Angela, and she's just as whacked out as this whole thing, and we'll talk about that next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.
Dark Side of the Stream, Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens. Watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens, episode 287 this week, a toxic love story. So back to what we were talking about. They then, after they kind of ratchet up what's going on with the current couple, and then all of a sudden it stops and it goes back in time. And instead of looking at the ex-girlfriend, who's supposedly that you at this point believe she's sending these wild emails, they go back to Angela and they go, and they find her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Who then tells a story about how this woman had lied to him, his entire group of friends.
Wasn't he a police officer too?
I think he was in law enforcement.
I think he was.
But he didn't have, he was just a normal guy. Basically told all these people that she had cancer.
Right.
And wouldn't let the guy go.
And to the point where they had to have an intervention.
Well, that was something else too I wanted to talk about is the level of secondhand embarrassment in this documentary is wild. When they do the intervention with Angela, and they finally sit her down, she's like, "What's everyone doing here?" And it's filmed.
Show us the port.
And they're like, "Show us your chemo port," and she won't do it. And it's like, because the boyfriend already found out.
The jig was up.
He went to the doctor. He's like, "What's this place?" Well, she's getting a mole removed, and he's like, "What?"
No chemo. Bro.
And he figures out eventually through some more investigative work that the girl that he's been with, that he has moved into his house has been lying to him about having cancer this whole time, which again is insane. Didn't she also say she was pregnant with twins too?
That was fake too. Yeah. Oh yeah. She went as far as to sending him a picture of the chemo room, and then when he Googled it, that's like a stock photo on the internet of a chemo room.
Which again, whoa! These were normal people that figured this out on their own. The investigators early on in Anaheim didn't do their job, and even on the twin deal, he said it was like the third picture when you reverse image.
And he found pregnancies just in a blue pen.
The chemo thing he found online. So then you're like, whoa, wait a minute. So
who's the crazy one?
Is
she sending herself emails?
Oh my God, maybe she's trying to play the victim.
Right.
So this guy will like fall in love with her, and then this
is where we probably put a spoiler alert.
And you're like, whoa, this is crazy.
Okay,
so
pause this. Pause it if you're trying to watch the movie.
So then they fast forward.
Well, because First girl says, "Yeah, I sent the email."
No, hold on. We get to this because so then they go back to the ratchet up part, and they realize who. Oh, I don't get to this.
It's very confusing.
Basically, what happens is it keeps ratcheting up until Angela eventually is attacked from behind in her garage, and then that's when the police are like, "Okay, something's happened. We've got this girl who's been threatening them." They also. The Craigslist fantasy thing is so wild. And the fact that they got the guy who answered it on this documentary
who goes around doing
blows
rape for
my
hire.
mind. In the sentence, these fantasies are a lot more popular than you think. Listen, man. I'm not going to kink anybody.
This has so many levels.
I'm not going to kink. I'm not going to kink shame anybody, man. Like I always say, like whatever floats your boat, as long as you're not hurting someone
like Mike
or
likes
yourself.
To look at my feet.
But this falls into that category of hurting someone that I will shame you. If you think that's cool, if a female asked me to if I was like, hey, you want me to what? It would literally be like the Warner Brothers cartoon. You'd see a dust cloud. You'd hear the door closing, and I'm already a quarter mile down the road. Like, that is the biggest red flag. I mean, again, no kink shame as long as you're not hurting someone or someone
watch
yourself.
This documentary because it's wild,
so basically, someone grabs her in the basement. Well, then they find out that this person who had been emailing set up a Craigslist post saying that this woman had a fantasy about getting attacked and assaulted in her home, and I want someone to come do this. Puts a picture. They contact the guy. They go as far. He's like, look, I'm not doing anything until I have voice verification. That's when they get Angela. He has a recording of her verifying that it's her, and it's not Michelle. And then eventually this ramps up to where, like, back to where you're saying, now the police can get involved. They go to Michelle's house. Who's living with her parents because she's broke after buying this condo with her ex. And they go, "Did you write these emails?" And she goes, "Yeah, I wrote emails."
You're like, okay, all right.
She spent 90 days in jail. 90 days in jail. Almost 4 months.
So then you're like, okay.
4 months in jail.
Did she send the email or did she not send the email? Then you're like, okay, well, this girl, the new girlfriend's setting that girl up by sending these emails to get her out of the picture.
4 months in jail. This innocent girl who had been robbed of her money, who had been accused of doing all these horrific things, then gets arrested and sent to jail. And we'll talk about what happened next. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7.
Dark Side of the Stream, Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens. Watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens on 104.7 The Cave. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 287. So we've kind of been ramping up, kind of like the story.
Girlfriend one is in jail for sending emails.
Now, the girl that they think originally, the Lilith, is Truth Girl, which I thought was so stupid.
Second girlfriend, who we thought might have been sending the emails, wasn't. Now she admits to sending the emails.
They basically, throughout the investigation, they then determine that Angela had lied about all this stuff in the past. They couldn't to really prove it yet, but they eventually pin this on her, and she gets 5 years?
Well, because she says, "Yes, I did it."
2 years.
She says, "Yes, I did it."
She ends up coming clean, and she pleads guilty.
And then they find out she didn't do it.
Well, she was complacent in it. she was part
Why
of
did
it.
she agree? Why did she say she did
They
it?
get a free condo. Well, I mean, she went down. Okay, so anyway, so then
FBI guy.
they release Michelle after almost 4 months in jail for no reason because Ian was a U.S. Marshal and a government employee. Whenever there's a criminal case like this that involves a government employee, the FBI gets involved. They have to. It's
This guy was good.
And then the guy actually comes in and does his job.
He goes.
He not
through the
only
videos.
finds out, he goes through all the he goes through the interrogation videos, the interrogation audio. He does all the digital footprint
Body
stuff.
cams.
He finds an email that was written from Lilith is Truth off of this guy's work computer. He then, I mean, and then he goes back to the video. You watch it. He's like guiding Angela throughout the whole thing. You can see where he's essentially manipulating this new girl to then go cash out on this old girl. Why? Because he wants a free condo.
He was the one sending all the emails.
And he also obviously had some control. He was the type of person that really wanted to control every aspect. Because then you meet Michelle, and you're like, this chick's as vanilla white bread as it gets.
And he used to do
and he was like trying to pressure her,
stuff with her.
like bringing in strangers, and you're going to dress like this. And then you're like, well, of course. Again, had the police actually done their job, they probably could have saved this girl another 4 months of her life. However, I will tell you, I did some investigation after this. She sued the city of Anaheim, got 1.7. She sued the Angela. She got, I think she had to pay like $55,000 in restitution, and then she sued Ian for an undisclosed amount of money because he sold the condo while she was in prison. Or county, not prison, county, which in some circles is worse, depending on where you go. LA County jail.
Wow.
So
what a crazy.
So ultimately, the federal government gets involved, and they do a great job, and they put this guy away for 10 years. Fed time. Fed time. You do that time. It's not like state time where you can shave off 5 years and you're out in
wild,
3.
Man.
It is Fed time.
Once again, another documentary to watch with my girl to make me look like a good guy.
Also, again, like not props, but I can't believe the producers kicked this one out of the park because getting the guy who answered the Craigslist ad was like insane. How do you convince this dude?
Deep.
Of course, he's not going to be on it, but at the same time, like
a guy that goes around doing,
what are you came to Ben? What are you Ben for? Some of your friends are going to figure this out.
They
guys.
must have paid him some.
It's like Jay getting on there. Okay, I've been. And it's
hide
like
my
all dark
face.
top.
Hide my face, dude. No, hide my face, bro.
I know I've been the best all the time, and you're like, hey, wait, that's Jay. And you can see like the outline of your hair on the side.
You're like, wait a minute, Motley Crue poster in the back.
One more mention too, while we fly through this last segment, is even they had another interview because Ian didn't take part of this. Angela didn't take part of this, so they brought in Ian's best friend Leslie, who still maintains his innocence to this day, even though there's evidence that he did.
She's wacky too.
She's in love with him. She's madly in love with him. There's no other explanation for her.
This documentary was crazy.
Dude, you're talking about some wackos.
I gave it a perfect score of 5. It was so wacky.
I'll agree with that, and what put it over the edge for me is that I'm so glad that I'm married and happily married, and that I don't have to go jump in this dating.
You don't have to jump on Craigslist.
Man, we've been together 15 years. I missed that whole train of online stuff, and Krista, I love you, and oh my God, I'm so thankful I don't have to go through that because I don't know, I wouldn't be able to. I don't know, man. You see stuff like this, and it's more rampant because of back in the past, like these girls wouldn't be able to connect as much, and eventually by the time but now it doesn't matter. It's insane.
Watch the documentary, Toxic Love Story, Netflix.
Wow.
Our pick next week is going to be. It's on Netflix as well. It popped up right after.
Cancel that subscription yet.
Idaho murders documentary.
Dude. Yeah, I saw
Very
that.
Interesting story. I watched it. It's watch it and see. It's
Psycho Dude.
It's a trip for sure.
Psycho Dude. Watch us do this every Thursday at 9 a.m. on Facebook or YouTube. I play it during that time on my show. Jay plays it at 6 during his show, and of course, you can always download this as a podcast on our 104.7 The Cave app. I'm Mike the Intern. That's Jay Stevens. That's Ali and Magic Tyler. And this is Dark Side of the Stream.
We watch documentaries.
We watch movies, so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.